Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Ragu Adibatwa, and this is Talking Funny. Hey guys, my name is Ragu Adibatwa, and you're watching Talking Funny. And I do this every Thursday, but sometimes Thursdays are a popular night for stand-up comedy and other events. So I have to move things to other days, like tonight, special night, special day, and a special comic. My guest tonight is Kezia Norton. She comes out of LA. Used to live in Buffalo, New York. She did a lot of comedy in New York City. So I'm going to have her on. But she's going to be on in just a second. Just trying to get her on here. Let's see. All right, guys, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but she will be on soon. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's see, Kezia. Let's see if we can get her on. Let's see. This is sometimes in production. We sometimes have time to fill. And let me just tell you, I performed with Kezia many times. She runs a show, so we're going to talk about that as well. What we'll do is, I'm just trying to get her on here. All right, guys, just bear with me for a second. If there's any questions you'd like to ask Kezia, please write in the comments and I will address them. Let's see. Is she on? Not yet. Hey, I think we're in business now. So here, Kezia's popped on. So we're going to bring her on right now. Kezia Norton, everybody, coming out of LA. Kezia. I think we're in business now.
Yay!
So here, Kezia's popped on. So we're going to bring her on right now. I think your YouTube is on at the same time. there's a little bit of a delay sometimes.
Okay, I think we got it. Oh my God.
Yeah, hey.
Technical.
No worries. No worries at all. First of all, thank you so much for being on. Everybody, this is Kezia Norton. As I said, she is in LA from the East Coast like me. Yay! We used to live right near each other. She was in Buffalo. I was near Rochester.
Oh my
God. Yeah, Rochester, New York. I know it very well. We come to Niagara Falls every now and then when we have relatives visiting. That's a very big spot for Indians. You know, we go up there a lot. Oh, yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on your show, and I do apologize. I was here early, and I'm like, what the fuck? So,
no worries. No worries. Don't worry at all. I'm glad you're on, and no, this is going to be great. I'm so glad we were able to work this out.
Yes.
To be on, and yeah. So you're from LA. But you did a lot of comedy in New York.
Yeah,
I know that. And another interesting thing about you, you wanted to act early on when you were little. You know, we share a lot of interest because when I was little, I was a ham. I loved to be on screen. My dad used to rent a video camera. I used to want to always be on there. But anyways, before we get into that, I want you to take us back to when you decided that you wanted to do stand-up comedy in particular, like when you wanted to do that. What got you started in that?
Great question. Well, I had gone to New York City. I did an an internship at Ensemble Studio Theater. I got to work with great people. And then some of the interns that I would hang out with, there was a woman named Stephanie, and she was like, Kezia, you're kind of funny. Why don't you take a class with Lewis Black? And I was like, I was super young at that time, and I was fresh out of college and never even engaged stand-up comedy a thought. Although I had heard George Carlin on the radio.
Right.
So in the back of my head, I was always kind of, writing funny jokes or saying funny things about people in my mind when I talk about them. And then she goes, yeah, take a class with Lewis Black. And I'm like, okay, cool. Who's Lewis Black? And then, of course, I found out who Lewis Black was. And at the time, so there's a place called the West Bank Cafe in New York City. Okay. And at the time, he was doing classes. I don't know if we had the class. Yeah, no, we had the classes there actually. In downstairs, they had this small theater and bar and everything. It was a really cool place. And he and Rusty McGee, he's no longer alive, but he used to play the piano, and he was so freaking talented. So Lewis, he would do nights, and it was kind of this underground. At that time, he had a super huge following in New York City, and it was pretty underground. He was really political. And then like 6 years later, his career just exploded. But I took classes from him in the so I started with telling this really funny, it was super true shoe story that happened to be in the trains in New York City. It was unbelievable what happened. It was definitely a New York City Cinderella story without the Cinderella at the end. So anyway, the first thing I ever did when I got on stage was I imitated Lewis Black. I went out and I got a curly wig, lit a cigarette, brought a drink out. I was like, I just was him.
Oh my God.
I really admired him. I admired his tenacity and just he was so brave to really say what he said. And he would always, we would be laughing so hard. Have you ever laughed so hard? Well, we are stoned sometimes, but we go, let's smoke, and then go. Right. So then we're like super high. And then we would laugh so hard that I don't know if you've ever done this, but you laugh so hard it hurts and you can't move. And you're just like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Like those were the Lewis shows. That's how funny. He was really funny when we were younger, man.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
He
was 40 years old at that time. And I'm so honored. I'm still like, everywhere. Anyway, he's amazing. He's such a great guy.
Wow. So what year was that? When did you do that in New York?
Okay, now you're going to age me. Well, I already
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay, because you can kind of figure out the number. It was in 1990.
1990. Okay.
Right. Yeah, 1990.
I'm bad at math, so don't worry. You're fine.
That's okay. It's all good. Whatever.
No, that's so cool. So New York City, what a great place to start comedy, and and then you moved to LA when?
When I was getting divorced and I was really sick. I was sick at the time, and I was dealing with, major issues. And my doctors were like, I felt like they're giving me the Renaissance, remedy, the Renaissance remedy, like go to the ocean's edge and be in the sun and breathe the ocean air. And I'm like, what year are we in? Like 1810 or something?
I know, right?
So that's what I did. And my mom was like, you'll never be mobile like this in your adult life. Just run. So I took their advice and I ran. And, I moved out here for 2 years, and I forgot to move back. I was just like, I really love it here.
Yeah. So and then, as I mentioned before, I was reading your bios here and there. I was catching glimpses of your life and what you were doing, and you wanted to act for like a long time. And I'm sure you were so glad to be in LA to be able to pursue that. You were in TV shows, Law and Order. That's amazing. I love that show. By the way, you got to share with us. Do you remember what episode that was? What
well, I worked on it a lot as
okay.
actor, but then I did scenes where I didn't have any lines, but I was in it, like level with the actors and stuff. I have no idea. It was so long ago.
That's awesome though.
But
what a great show to do it on.
I was grateful for the experience because at that point I was really young and it was in the beginning of my acting career. So yeah,
that's cool. So you did, you were in TV, you were in theater a lot. You did a lot of plays. Were you in plays when you were little in school?
No, well,
you weren't.
When I was like in 6th grade, when I was 4 years old, I told my mom, I just want to be an actor. That's all I want to be. And I would, she'd always find me in front of the TV. Kezia, I have to go to bed. I'm like, no, I want to be an actor. And she was just like, whatever. My parents, she's a middle child. We get it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So you have 2 brothers because you talk about them a lot in your comedy. Hilarious. I love your family humor. Like, the stories you have, like you draw from your life and your family. And love the penis envy joke is like a classic. I mean, oh my God. You guys see her show sometime. She always has that joke, which is awesome. It's hilarious. I'm not going to say any more about that joke. You guys got to see her set to see that joke. It's hilarious. But you talk. So you were, now this is really cool. And I didn't know about, you were a voiceover. You're a voiceover actor. I've always wanted to do something like that. Yeah. And you did a children's show, The Garbage Truck.
Yeah.
Exactly. How'd you get into that?
I lucked out when I was younger. When I first started my acting career, I worked with a voiceover woman, Anna Garduno. She's still around. She's in New York, and she and I have similar voices in that they used to call it damaged voice.
Okay.
I'm like, yeah. So, the gravelly kind of thing.
Right.
So she left this one agency, and at the time it was called Cunningham Ascot Tapini. So it was really funny because they ended up, when she left, they brought me in kind of to fill her. She was much more advanced than I was and far along with her career. But because I had that similar voice, they wanted to fill that. At least that's what my agent told me when I went in. And so I lucked out. I got this commercial. I booked this, this commercial. It was like a food chain that I don't even know the name of it. Never even saw the commercial. But I found out through a paycheck that it turned into some voiceover paychecks.
Okay.
My voice from the commercial, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then back in the day when you made bank, like one time I did this voiceover, I did one take. All I had to say was, hey, have you seen my boyfriend? And they're like, fine, that's good. And I kind of was like, don't you want me to do more? They're like, no, we got it. I got paid $680 for that.
That's nice.
Yeah. So like back in the day, voiceovers still is lucrative, but it's a little different. It's structured differently. So I started voiceovers. Then in LA, my ex-boyfriend used me for this cartoon that he and this guy were producing. It's called Charlie the Trash Truck. So and I do little boy voices. So so they had me be Charlie the Trash Truck, and then it was featured on Oprah for like, I don't know, 15 seconds or whatever.
That's awesome.
I never have been on the Oprah show, but Charlie, my voice has. So there
you go. That's so cool. Oh my God, I gotta, cheers. I totally forgot.
You told me to grab a cocktail.
I don't know.
I don't even really this early.
It's so funny. But no, I saw the episode, one of the episode, hilarious. I loved it. My kid loved it. He's like, "What is this?" And he comes over and he was seeing it. And yeah, it was pretty cool. He's 3 years old. He watches a lot of stuff on YouTube. So
oh my God.
yeah. Oh man. But so about your stand-up when you started out. Who were you looking to? Like, what was your research process? Who was your influencers?
Well, obviously Lewis Black.
Right. Yeah. Lewis Black.
I love Lily Tomlin.
Okay.
A lot of them are kind of old, old school. Lucille Ball, just I really and then now, like, I love Maria Bamford, Mitch Hedberg, George Carlin, those kinds of comedians. I love Eddie Izzard, but back when I was younger, I would have to say it was I wasn't really in a situation where I really looked up comics and got hooked in.
Okay.
A little bit later on, but I went around to like all the open mics everywhere around New York. I was constantly, New York's kind of cool for comedy because you can whip on those trains. You can go do a set down on the east side. Then you can whip up to the upper west side. It's like, you can do that and you can hit a lot of spots. And one of my favorite places of all times to actually do stand-up is at the Gotham Comedy Club.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
In New York. So I still love that place. But I was definitely really into like sketch comedy too.
Okay.
As a kid and a teenager, I really liked, like, I know this sounds weird, but I loved Cher on the Sonny and Cher, and she would do she put on costumes and be like in front of the all that stuff. And I was really kind of more into the sketch comedy, which is kind of weird. I mean, not weird, but
It's not too weird though, because like a lot of the sketch comedy and improv, it kind of leads into a lot of times stand up, and and it helps a lot, to do that. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I could definitely see you do something like SNL, like, because you're very animated, you're so like high energy, and you love, you can do characters. I mean, so that's so cool. Awesome.
I think. I mean, of course, I'd love to get on SNL, but I am definitely in the process of working on something where it puts everything together. A one-woman show, but it also incorporates exactly what we're talking about.
Sure.
So it's more like it's in my head a little more, and I've written certain things down, and I'm working on characters. But like I have this one character called Auntie Squeesia, and it is I grew up in a family where my brothers and we would get in fights all the time, but like we squeeze each other and we'd be like, so now like with my nieces, they all call me Auntie Squeesia, and I'm like,
that's hilarious.
So I'm definitely gonna incorporate all of it.
Yeah, definitely. So you were into figure skating, and you were a coach, and but I know at that time there was a lot of other stuff going on, but how, like, health-wise and everything. But how did all that play into your mindset of, hey, I'm gonna now like really take a hold of what I'm doing and go for it? Like, because how was that impacted with what you wanted to do?
Really,
if that makes sense. I'm sorry.
That's an awesome question.
Yeah.
Ask me that. So that's really cool. I appreciate you doing that. In ice skating, I learned at a very young age what competition was really like. And when you get judged, it's just like being in an audience. Like, you get judged. Everyone is judging you. And then being female, I think we really criticize females way too much. Oh, she's flat. Oh, she's got thick thighs.
True.
So I really learned what it was like being under the microscope. And then also too, there was one time where my dad came to watch me skate, and I had won a lot of competitions and did really well. I mean, not winning all the time, but skating my best. So it didn't really care to me. Once you skate your best, whatever the judges say is inconsequential. You know, you feel like shit, but it's like, no, I did the best I could. So when there was one time my dad came to watch me, and he did not support my skating at all.
Okay.
I wiped up that ice like the Zamboni with my ass. And it was horrifying.
Yeah.
You know, I had to go home, and I really had to suck it up, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had to get back on the ice, lick my wounds, get back on the ice and skate. And then he was not allowed to come to any of my competitions ever again.
Wow.
Not allowed.
Yeah.
And I kept it very private. And that's kind of how I actually keep my comedy.
Okay.
To be really honest, I don't think my dad has seen my comedy at all.
Okay.
Which that's okay. And my dad and I get along now, and I really love him. You know, it's not like today I just called him, you know, I love him dearly. So, but I really protect my comedy because, you know, it's a rough racket.
Right.
And, you know, the biggest lesson that I brought from skating into my comedy is you fall. Every great comic has bombed.
Yeah.
And I bombed at the Improv like no other. It was the worst thing ever. And man, you know, I sat down for about 2 years after that. Wow. And I looked in the mirror one day, I said, what the hell are you doing?
Right. Yes.
You know, I mean, I went out here and there, but I really, really was wounded after that. And I said, look what you did with ice skating. Who gives a shit?
Right. Right.
There's so many comics, and now we know through Zoom everyone's a comic. You know.
True.
So no, who cares?
Right.
My friends were so drunk they don't even remember seeing it. So, and there wasn't that many people in the audience at that time because I was put up really late, which whatever. So anyway, just being able to, you know, everyone falls. It's how you get up is really what counts.
Definitely.
So I kind of brought that back in, like, if I forget my program, if I forget my act, just go on with it. Ask the audience what I was talking about. Who gives a shit? And just keep going. You know, it's just keep going.
Exactly. And one of the biggest things is, as comics or even as performers, we're our worst critics. You know, and there was I had a thing at Zany's, an audition. It was like, I don't know, probably like 7 years ago. And I froze for an entire minute, like 1 minute. I didn't say a word. I'm just standing there. And these people paid money to come see 10 comics. And they're auditioning, but you're still booked, right? So you're still there. They look at you as a professional comic. They don't know about it's an audition or this, that, but for a whole minute, that changed my entire perspective on what I need to do. And like big falls lead to big, you know, success, like big steps. And it's a key part. And that's so great that you were doing this, you know, sport, this figure skating, that all of it is based on trying to, you know, you could fall at any moment.
Yeah.
But that's awesome how that, you know, carried over into your strength in your comedy and what you were doing, right? So that's amazing. Yeah.
In that, you know what? Another really important lesson I think comics really need, and even actors would benefit from this, because, and I'm not bragging by any stretch of the imagination, but it'll make sense in a second.
Yeah.
My second to last coach that I had, I decided to take from him because he was Olympic bound. I knew it. He ended up being, he's been into the Olympics many, many times. He's coached, you know, Tara Lipinski. He's coached so many people. So that'll give you a hint of who this person is. and he destroyed many skaters.
Wow.
He's a pedophile.
Yeah.
He was really misogynistic, and I'm talking.
Yeah.
I had an eating disorder. I was bulimic, and then I turned anorexic for a while, and it affected my life. This is something that takes years and years and years, and a lot of psychotherapy, and I was messed up. Like, so those early days in New York, I was still messed up. I was really dealing with a lot, when you're young and all that. So what I ended up realizing was, because I was so young, now he didn't molest females, he molested males.
Okay.
So, and I know this is really heavy, but it'll make sense. So I gave over to a lot of his power. As a child, I believed what he told me. When he said, "Norton, you're so fat, you sound like an elephant landing your jumps,"
wow.
He was really abusive verbally to women. And so anyhow, in comedy, that time that I bombed, I was taking classes with a particular comedy coach that wasn't good for me.
Right.
He's good for other people, but wasn't good for me. And I realized, he was nothing like my skating coach, but I realized, don't give your power away to something that's toxic, right? Just because someone's in a higher position than you, walk away. You can go find a healthy coach. And that's what I did. Was I ended up searching out some other coaches that were better for me. And I repaired, and then I got back out there. And now if I go into, an acting class and the coach is all about criticism and making you breaking you down, I just walk out. Thank you. Goodbye. I think that's really, really important, especially for young kids that are coming out and they're like, looking at people that are, like with stars in their eyes. Be selective.
Right. Wow. No, that's really great. I'm so glad you were open and discussing that. I think it's really important, and really, especially for women in a lot of these industries, and you could see the strength that you showed. You were able to break through all this, and this is definitely something that people can hear and really learn from it. And I appreciate you talking about that. That's really amazing, like how far you've come, from, the time, the place that you were in, and you weren't just like, hey, I'm ready to throw in the towel. It was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to kick life in the ass and I'm going to go. And speaking of kicking ass, at the beginning of this pandemic, you created a show. You're like, I am going to do something every Friday. I'm going to do a show because this pandemic sucks, and we're going to keep the show rolling. You have a show called Friday Nite Funnies. Amazing. I love the way you produce it. I love the way you run it. It's just amazing. And I love the Zoom background. I mean, it's like one of the most colorful. It's amazing. But so the pandemic hit and you're like, oh my God, like all these shows are canceled. How did Friday Nite Funnies come about? What were you going through then?
This question. So it was really organic how the whole thing unfolded. I literally, when we shut down, I felt like, what are we gonna do?
Yes.
Oh my God. My own personal pandemic, like we all were. Everybody is in an unknown fear. So I just said, well, I've been Zooming with my business for 6 years. So I knew how to Zoom. Like the rest of the world was actually catching up with what we were all doing in my business, my side hustle. So I like this. So just meaning like I've practiced on Zoom. And when we first started 6 years ago, Zooming, I was so nervous. I was so nervous. I'd be like with my notes going, okay, this is what we're going to do. So then, I ironed all that out. So I'm like, I'm ready. So I said, let's have an open mic. I'll just do an open mic. And then I invited like all my Toastmaster friends because I'm in Toastmasters.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so cool.
And a bunch of them came to the show. And then I had some of my friends that are in the catering world.
Yeah.
That other side hustle I was doing before the pandemic. And so it was so fun. And then my friend Chris was like, Kezia, that was not an open mic. That was a show. And I went, oh, next week it's going to be a show. So then I just created like these lame flyers with just the name, no pictures, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. And then we started doing it, and then it just grew. And then it was like, oh my God, there's something here. And I named it Friday Nite Funnies. We tried to buy the domain name with my guy that helped me with my acting website. And that was already bought. So he goes, you can buy Friday NITE. And I go, let's do it. And then he did the 4 quads, and he got the whole book and everything. And I was just like, oh my God. So now, you know, I have a YouTube channel. We're working on building that. That's like glasses in January. And then, so now it's what it is. And then my goal is, right now it's a weekly virtual show, as you know. But I'm a sole producer, and I have asked a couple people to co-produce with me, and and then one of them was like, "Don't do that. It's your baby. Like, you're the face of it." And I'm sitting there going, "Do you guys want to kill me? Like, you're just on your own."
You don't realize I need a little bit of help here.
Yeah. Like, so I'm grateful. I'm totally grateful. Then so when we open up, I'm going to have it, and we're streaming now onto this really cool platform called Hot Mic. And it's where you can sell the tickets, and then the comedians get 100% of the profits. So we're streaming that this Friday, the first time, and that's really awesome. And so I'm going to send it out globally, which is so cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then when we open up, I want to have a home for it, but it'll be bi-monthly. So I just, so it's super cool. We have a following, and you were on it a couple times.
Yeah, I know, man. It's a fun show. It was a fun show. Especially the Elvis show landed on a Friday. His birthday landed on a Friday. How perfect is that? Like,
I know.
You so you answered a little bit of this. I know you said your dad doesn't come for stand-up, but do your brothers, what do they think about your stand-up?
My younger brother's seen it more. Like, he saw one of the Friday Nite Funnies.
Oh, did? Okay.
He was supportive and things like that, but you know, family, and I don't know, it's just kind of hard to do it in front of family.
Yeah, it is.
And, when I'm telling jokes about my brothers, it's like they're like this, like, that's not gonna happen. What the hell? No. You know, so whatever. I just, I mean, as I keep growing, eventually they'll be more and more open to it. But I think my other brother was definitely more open to it this time. Like, he was like, no, you have a really good show. That's awesome. You know, and stuff like that. And he did say the seasonal one was a funny joke. And, you know, the envy was a funny joke. I just gave away the punchline. You know, that kind of thing. So that's good. Like, little by little.
Awesome. Are you what do you think about Zoom shows? How's your besides the one you're producing, like overall, like performing on Zoom? And I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Okay, there's definitely people that I hate Zoom. I'm gonna wait till we open up. And then there's others that fall into this category. I'm going to make the best of the situation. We're working on our craft. You know, and I feel like Zoom has gotten my timing better because I tend to talk kind of fast, and I've learned how to, like, Bobby Oliver is really big on embracing the pause. She's coached me before, and so Zoom's really taught me that, because mechanically you have to wait for the audience to stop laughing so that they can hear your next line. So in that way, I think people that are not working on their craft during this time, they're going to get left behind. And the reason why I believe that, I mean, I could be wrong, who knows? But when we open up, my show's going to be a hybrid of virtual and live.
Okay.
So everyone that's been on Zoom and everything will really understand that. Because I may still stream in from Zoom into Hot Mic Live.
Okay.
Or I may stream in, you know, to get a comic who's in Chicago to be on. Like, you know, we're going to work those kinks out. But least case scenario, it's going to be streaming in from the place live on Hot Mic.
Okay.
So, I mean, and we're kind of used to being on TV. This is kind of TV. So you're also exercising if you're an actor as well.
Yeah.
Understanding the lighting, the camera, even better while you're just keeping that muscle going. But, you know, it'll be totally wrong and people will be fine. And then they open up and it's like you're just doing it on stage regularly. But I think those of us who have been practicing, you know, just continually doing our craft, it's not always practice. We're doing real shows.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and I think we're creating a community.
Yes.
And those who are, you know, because like I met you through Zoom. I've met people through Zoom and really hooked up and connected. Those people that I'm working with in Zoom right now.
Yeah.
Oh, when we go live, they're on my show. Unless you diss me on my show.
Right.
Ran the lights severely, or you disrespected me, you're not on my show live.
Right.
I know who I'm not bringing with me. There's a few comics, few and far between, but there's a few that will not be welcome back.
Of course.
But you are welcome back.
Oh man. You know, this is one of the things like I love about Zoom. Like you said, like I would never have met like you or any of the other comics in the West Coast, and unless I fly there and I do a show. But I don't know when, you know, my show, you know, I don't know when I'm going to be in San Diego again, or I have family in San Diego, by the way. So, you know, and I know they have a great comedy scene, but I always say like, we're like one big city right now. It's like virtual city, right? Like I'm running into the same people.
Yeah.
Like as if we're in the same town. We just run into Mike. Like, oh, hey, I just saw you last week on the show. Like I do the comedy competition. I'm seeing them everywhere. The same people I'm competing with in another round.
That's so
somewhere else. I'm like, wasn't I just in a round with you? Like we just did this. It's like, but it is pretty cool. I think that's one of the cool things about being virtual. And but that's so right about the pausing, and there's a lot of technique, you know. And I think it really helps when you carry, you know, back to stage. The whole pausing, because you know there's a lot that it teaches you. I'm still trying to get the hang of that. Like I'm, you know, I'll like be end a joke and then I want to get in the next joke. All of a sudden I hear laughter. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, I gotta stop.
But where I go, everybody does that. Even like the seasoned comics that are on, you know, I've had some really great, you know, Brian Kiley, Karen Rentowski, a whole bunch of comics that have been on as headliners and stuff. And sometimes, I'm not saying they did it, but sometimes comics, because this is a whole different media. You know?
It is,
But you know what's the coolest thing? Because you totally said it. There's no geographical hindrances.
No.
I did this show called Transplendor and One Random Cis Guy, and it was such a hit. And because my goal with Friday Nite Funnies is to be a utopia of supportive comics and audience that are all about inclusion, right? Different nationalities, different sexes, different everything, whatever. You know, it's if you're transgender, you're welcome on my show. And if my audience needs to respect that. Okay, so it's actually a give and take. So my show might not be for everybody, but I don't really give a rat's ass, because then you're not of the like-minded person, right? So, you know, binary, non-binary, it's all good. So it's from utopia for like-minded people. And I protect
Definitely.
like everyone knows that I protect that. Okay.
Yeah.
So the coolest thing is we had a comic in Malaysia.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that you posted that. That's awesome. How was that?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, she's friggin' hilarious. She's awesome. And so now Friday Nite Funnies is known in all her circles. So
that's awesome.
So I would like to be able to keep the global impact of Zoom within my show, even though we're in LA. And then my last point on this is that there's a comic in London that I found on YouTube, and a trans woman, and hilarious. And so it's 3 o'clock in the morning when I do my show. And she said, you know what, I just can't do it. And I said, I understand. Yeah. Hey, you ever come to LA? And she said, I do sometimes, but I haven't been there in a long time. I said, when you come to LA, hit me up, because I'll put you on stage when we open up. And so, and we're keeping in touch. How cool is that?
That's awesome. No, that's so great. Like we're touring the world right now. Like we're on tour, Kezia, all the time. We're on tour. We're like doing different cities. Like when else can we do that? I mean, now's the time. And then I know you mentioned there are like a lot of comics who don't want to do Zoom shows. Yeah. And I mean, I can understand in one way, like a lot of them aren't paid.
Right.
But I think you're paid in a different sense. Like it pays off when things open up.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like I know people now on the West Coast and the East Coast, more people where we can go and we know people in different cities.
Right.
It's like, hey, if I'm ever in the city, they know me now. They know you.
No,
so
sure.
And
we're planting a garden. We're planting
yes.
But we're blue. Yes. And then, that's why I'm doing Hot Mic, because I'm a donation-based show. So donations literally cover. I pay 2 people that are on my payment thing, and those donations really cover those 2 people. I pay a tech gal, because otherwise it won't run smoothly.
Right, exactly.
And I can't do everything, so I kind of portioned that off. And then I pay a PR gal that helps me with flyers and posting and stuff like that. So that's basically, and then I do give a little to me from all my time, but it's just a little.
Right.
It's really donation based. So
exactly.
With the studio, it's not, donations were great in the beginning, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why I'm doing Hot Mic, because we all sell tickets 100. They don't take a cut of the ticket sales. So I can divide that money up between the comics.
That's awesome. So that's great.
Right now and that's going to be my goal, like to always pay comics, even though it's Zoom.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so great. That's so great that you're doing that. When is Hot Mic? When is how do can people sign up, or how does it work?
Okay, so say you have a show.
Okay.
You just hit me up you can go to a hotmic.events and just sign up.
Oh, okay. I see what okay.
You just literally fill out.
Okay.
And then you show up there, and then they show you they'll literally, like Christina, my tech gal that I love dearly.
Yeah.
She did a Zoom with them. They told her how to do it, and now she's good to go. So she can actually run everybody's show for them because she knows how now.
I see. Okay. That's awesome.
Christina, my gal. And, but it's like, you're really good at it. You'd be really, really putting a key into the live stream, just like this kind of.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check it out, and people should. So that's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to talk about your future goals. Anything you want to plug coming up? Now's your time. Do whatever. What do you want to do? What do you want to do in the future?
So these are my goals. 3 goals for this year. So the one is, I wrote a screenplay a long time ago called Angel of the Snow, based on Jose Rivera's original monologue. He's an award-winning actor. I met him at Ensemble Studio Theater.
Okay.
So I wrote a screenplay based on one of his monologues, and the goal is to get a producer for that.
Okay.
And it's definitely an indie film. And then also, I would love to get on a sitcom or just really comedic movie.
Sure.
I'm open to all of that. TV show, movie. And then the other thing is I really want to produce Friday Nite Funnies live. And I did find a place called the Comedy Chateau that we're looking at, and they have all the technical end that we can just plug into and continue the show virtually and live. So those are my 3 real goals.
Cool.
For this.
That's awesome. I wish you all the best for all those goals. I know you can do it. And this is the year. Let's leave shitty 2020 behind. Let's have a good 2021. You know, I think things are looking up. Any shows coming up? I know you have, of course, Friday Nite Funnies on Friday.
And I booked a few shows, but honestly, I have to get the flyers for them. But I realized that I tend to overbook myself a little bit. So I'm taking an acting class and a writing group. So we're doing, stuff like that. So, but yeah, so we do have our 50th show coming up with Friday Nite Funnies. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be amazing.
Awesome. What date is that? When will that be?
It's the March 13th. Is that Friday?
March 13th.
I forgot what that.
Friday the 13th. That'd be awesome.
Friday the 13th. It's either the 12th or the 13th, I think.
Okay.
So that's the one. And you can just get a ticket. You just go to hotmic.events and you just click on Friday Nite Funnies and you just buy a ticket and you can just see it that way. And you have up to 24 hours to watch it.
Awesome. Very cool. And people can follow you on Instagram at Kezia Norton. That's Kezia Norton. And that's on Instagram. And of course, Facebook, Friday Nite Funnies on Fridays. Now I'm going to get to a segment. This is a fun segment. It's called Ragus Hot Sauce Seat. Yeah, it's some crazy questions that you just got to give me an answer.
Okay.
Whatever you can think of.
Okay.
No matter how nuts it is. And I think you'll do great. I've heard a lot of crazy stuff. So I'm sure you're pretty creative. So here we go. All right. Number 1. Name something you can do with a pencil besides write with it.
I can put it in between my nose and lip.
Yes, that is awesome.
That's because they're too flat. So.
I love it. I've heard all kinds of answers for that. Some people have said you could stab somebody with it. Some people said you can bite it. I don't know, but this was cool. I used to do that, in school. Like I just, Number 2. What items would you buy at a store? Let's say like a Walgreens or a CVS or something. I don't know what you guys have. Rite Aid, I think, out west.
Yeah, we have Rite Aid.
But
eyelashes.
Okay. No. But I didn't finish yet.
Okay, sorry.
What items would you buy at the store to make the cashier really uncomfortable? So yeah.
Uncomfortable.
You might want to buy something with those eyelashes to make them be like, "You're scary, Kezia. Don't ever come to our store again. Like this is horrible."
God, that's so funny. Okay, how about like lice stuff?
Lice stuff. Okay.
Randomly choosing. Enema thing for
cleansing. All right.
Oh my God, kitty litter?
Shit. Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. I don't. First of all, I don't know where that lice is that you need the other thing for, and you're dead. Wow. That's Well,
you said that they would make. Yeah. Well, I think it would be weird. Well, I taught preschool and I had to buy lice stuff one time because the kids got lice, and I was so paranoid. I was so embarrassed buying that.
It's not an easy thing to buy.
I have a child. It's for my child. She goes to preschool.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to get. You guys, can I get that bag that you can't see through? I would love that bag. I was just okay. So number 3, if there was a movie made about you, who would you want playing you?
Kelly Ripa. I don't know. Like she's not an actress.
Yeah.
Looks like me. She could probably act.
Yeah, definitely. She's also got that spunk and that energy too. So
As well, I would say Sissy Spacek if she was younger.
Okay, I see that. Yep.
I have to figure that out really because that's like a good question to know an answer right off the top of your head.
I don't know that with that I don't know if you've aged yourself or if I don't know what you did there, but younger like a Sissy Spacek. Yeah, she was in Carrie, right? Wasn't she?
Yeah.
The one in Carrie. Okay, awesome. That's a good answer. Okay, if you were to choose between 2 superpowers, flying or invisibility, what would you choose?
Well, I would choose flying, and the reason because when I used to live in New York, people would never see me. I'd walk down the street and they'd bump into me all the time. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm invisible. What? I literally felt invisible, and I already know what that kind of feels like. So I would try something totally different because to be able to fly would be amazing.
I think that would be awesome. And then what better city than New York? I mean, wow, like that's got to be a nice.
Chasing you, and then you're like, yeah, forget it. You just take off and be like, and then you could fly back and go na pee.
Exactly. I love that. Okay, so you're on a raft, and with you is a baby, a nun, and an old man. But there's only room for 3 of you and 2 of the others. So you got to throw somebody off the raft. I don't care whether they could swim or not. They're just gone. Like, who are you getting rid of? The baby, the nun, or the old man?
Because I can swim. I love swimming.
Wait, what would you do?
Jump off.
You would jump off.
Yeah.
That's the second. You're the second person to say that.
Yeah.
You would jump off.
I would probably pull the boat if there was a string, because I just believe in saving people, and I was a guppy. Like, I love water. I love swimming.
Awesome. That's a cool answer. And then you would just tug them to shore with you, I guess. Yeah, that's cool. All right. That's a very noble thing to do. That's nice. You got a long way to swim, by the way. You're not really near shore,
I would try, but if it became a point where it was between life or death, I would choose because I don't really want to die. That's why I wasn't successful being an anorexic.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me see here. Okay, so Colbert's producers call you, or one of the Late Show producers, whatever.
Okay.
Show. And you get to do a set, but you have to change your name to Amnesia Norton. Would you do it? That would be your name.
Oh, hell yeah.
Awesome.
I would bare my breasts. Get on a night show.
They'll be on HBO. They'll be on
totally.
They'll be like, okay, our next guest is going to be on Cinemax. We're going to switch over to that. That's what's going to happen. You write an autobiography. What would your autobiography be called?
Kizzy Monster.
Kizzy Monster. I like that. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I can see a cool book cover for that.
Yeah. I love my family. Just don't get me wrong with that. My grandmother used to call me Kizzy Monster because Kizzy after Kizzy and Roots. When my I'll watch the original Roots, and he just started calling me Kizzy, and then he turned it into Kizzy Monster because they would beat the shit out of me. My older and I would go after him thinking I could beat him up, and it was like going into a brick wall, and I just go flying back, and he's like, Kezia monster, you know, I don't know.
That is so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, family's interesting, isn't it? You get a lot of nicknames from family. My mom called me Prego once. That was
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's happened. Yeah, so my last question, and you won't offend me at all. Do you prefer Ragu or Prego?
I don't eat that kind of food, so I'm really just saying I've heard Prego's better. Is that it? Like, I don't know.
It is. I'll say it. It is.
Okay, yeah. I'd go with Prego. Yeah.
All right, good choice.
You could turn it into a joke like, yeah, Prego. Now my wife's Preggers, you know. I don't know.
Awesome. Oh my God. Well, you did really well. I liked your answers. Very creative. Very, very creative. Kezia, it's been a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for being on.
Oh my gosh.
This was a blast. And everybody who's going to be watching this or has watched this, I don't know, but come to Friday Nite Funnies. It's on Friday, every Friday. Yeah. It's 6 p.m., right? Pacific time.
30 p.m. PST. So it's a little late for Eastern.
Oh, 7:30, right? 7:30 PST. 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. Yeah. And then Google whatever time zone if you're in another country. I don't know, but you can catch it. Well, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Ragu. It was a real pleasure. I'm really honored to be on your show, and thank you so much. I'll have to get you on Friday Nite Funnies again.
Yes. Oh my God. I would love to be back. Yeah. It's a great show. Guys, seriously, check it out. She's awesome. Cool. And when it's live, it'll be live. So it'll be great. Yeah. Kezia, thank you so much. And good luck with everything.
Thank you. You too. Such a beautiful family. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye. Oh my God. That was Kezia Norton, you guys. She runs that show on Fridays, Friday Nite Funnies, 7:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Central time. So this has been Talking Funny. My guest on Thursday is going to be Ritu Tirthani. She just recently won the National Virtual Comedy Competition. So we're going to talk about that and many more things with her. So, all right, guys, this has been Talking Funny. And my name is Ragu Hot Sauce. See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.